Hello and welcome back to the cronecast at the Rising Moon. Hey guys, on this particular channel I put up my podcast, Logical Magic Examining Esoterica, in the video format. Please look for that. It has a lot of spiritual and healing advice in it. But today I have for you another thing that I do, which is a pick a card. And this pick a card is for clarity and guidance. These are angel messages. They are considered urgent angel messages as well, the thing that you really need to hear right now. There are 4 piles in a pick card. They're pretty clearly marked as to what the piles are likely to contain. Take a moment, concentrate, see which one really calls out to you. It is possible that more than one pile will have a message for you, but they are about hope and about power and about your spirit family and also about solutions and balance in your life as well. So take a moment. There's going to be a moment here with the cards, and I'll see you at the time of your reading. Welcome back. Hey, if you chose pile number 1, this is the Archangel's Fan Well, which is about hope, optimism, and new beginnings. Let's put this guy over here, and we're going to put the number 1 over here so people can easily fast forward to their reading, but there will be timestamps in the description box down below. There always are. We are using the Clarity deck, the Clarity Tarot deck, for all of the readings, and I will be using a Spirit Guide spread, which is actually 12 cards. Let's get going. What does pile number 1 need to know? What is their message for their new beginnings, for hope, for optimism? What's the deal here? First thing that wants out is the World in the Upright with the Hanged Man following it. That's 2 major arcana right in a row. Remember, fateful forces are represented by the major arcana. Hey, before I continue, if you need me for a private reading, at therisingmoon.com is the only way to book me. And don't forget to look for my podcast, Logical Magic Examining Esoterica. And then the other thing that, I'm losing my train of thought because the cards are really calling out to me. Oh, I have a Patreon, which has weekly spirit guide messages and monthly, and some extra special messages in there as well. So the World in the Upright is a successful completion, usually of a karmic circle. It is one of the karmic cards. We have the New Perspective card of the Hanged Man, which is, we're sometimes held in stasis much longer than we want to be as we're trying to heal and release generational trauma and generational burdens. I have the Page of Pentacles in reverse, which can be a daughter's card. Can also be a failure to learn a lesson card, but is often a card of letting things go. And then the next we have is the 5 of Cups in the Upright, which is longing and grieving and emotions. It can be called the crying over spilled milk card. I really, really rarely see it that way. It is about grieving for the things that didn't work out. Grief isn't just about death. Grief can be about, if you're really invested in the idea of a relationship, as for instance, and it didn't work out, we have to process our grief in order to kind of clear the slate in order to move forward. And that comes out with the 7 of Cups in the Upright, which is everything being up in the air as well. It can be a card for spell work. It's a card of being careful with your choices. We're going to get the underlying issues energies here. 6 of Swords in the Upright, which is leaving something behind. Sailing in smoother waters. It's a new chapter beginning as well, because these figures are always depicted, or should be depicted, on the river Styx, so it is one of the cards for new beginnings. I have the 2 of Swords in reverse, another card of being careful with your choices. And remember that your perspective on a situation is a choice. If you are feeling pessimistic, if you are feeling lost, if you are feeling like there is no point, then it is a perspective that needs to be changed. Because honest to goodness, in our life, we have a lot of obstacles to overcome, and they're brought to us to help teach us lessons, which does not mean that the universe is a cruel teacher, but rather that the reality that we have structured contains a lot of problems within this world. And our guides can't protect us from all of them, but they do as much as they humanly can. Well, I guess not humanly. As they extraterrestrially can. They do what they can to limit the amount of struggle that we experience, but we actually do need some struggle to grow, because expansion beyond the known into the unknown comes from struggles. It's really easy to, when you receive more and it's a blessing, of course you expand into it joyfully. But when you meet challenges over and over again, what you're really doing, think of it as strength training. It is building up your strength. With the 7 of Pentacles in the Upright, a trust the process energy. We have the 5 of Swords in reverse, clarifying my 5 of Cups in the Upright. The 5s are really about change. And then I have the Three of Cups in the upright, which is celebrations, reunions, friendships. Okay, that's going to be a tough message. Let's get going on the rest of this. So hope, optimism, new beginnings. If you're wondering what's holding up your new beginning, not a great deal any longer, but you are being reminded that your perspective is within your control. And we're never supposed to try and fix our feelings or repress them, but what we're supposed to do is acknowledge them and then kind of address them in a way that, you know, sometimes we lose the view of the positive. The idea of living in gratitude, where you kind of enumerate the things in your life that are good, is one of the remedies for pessimism. And if you can't do that, please go ahead, do some grounding work, do some balancing work. Balancing is incredibly important. You can do so through multiple recordings on YouTube for chakra alignment. I like the ones that are like 10 to 30 minutes long because I can do them before I meditate. Chakra vibrations is one of my favorites. Inner Lotus healing music is another. I like Meditative Mind as well. Do a search on this. The answers that are right for you will come to you. So look for chakra balancing. Look for balance work as well. Yoga can help, and not everybody digs yoga. I have the Ace of Swords in the upright, which is clarity, new beginnings, and judgment in reverse, which is in fact the start of a new karmic cycle. So the only thing that I have on this table is that you lose your perspective sometimes to what has been lost rather than what can be gained. That if we look in the rearview mirror at all the things that didn't work out, then it's really hard to move forward if we're looking over our shoulder all the time. Not everything is meant to work out. We are supposed to learn about what is good for us and what is not good for us through the various choices that are brought to us. And we are asked to choose in service of our highest good. The only thing holding up new beginnings in your life is that you have to be careful with your choices around your own cyclical mood management. And that is not a criticism at all. It's simply a reminder that everybody can get bummed out, everybody can get depressed, and everybody can cry, and it's healthy. But then the choices that we make in the aftermath of that to celebrate our existence, which is one of the meanings of the Three of Cups. Choose, when you're making your choices, remember to choose to celebrate that which is good. I help people heal from complex post-traumatic stress disorder and post-traumatic stress disorder. And one of the hardest things that I encounter with my clients is getting them to understand you need to celebrate every single bit of progress by treating yourself well, by talking to yourself kindly, by indulging in healthy ways, which can include, like, you know, if there's a special perfume you want, that kind of thing, to treat yourself as being worthy of good things, and more good things will come to you. That is one of the things that this is, weirdly enough, it is not Archangel Fanuel that is trying to address me right now. It appears to be Archangel Raphael, which is one of the healing energies and the Archangel in charge of your heart chakra. When you cannot find hope, when you are lost in the fear that nothing will ever change, the easiest thing to do is work on your heart chakra to expand the energy of love in your life. Because love is actually the remedy to fear. And that's what holds this particular person's pile back. And it's a general reading, it can't apply to everybody. But a fear that a pattern will repeat, if you've changed, your pattern will change. You do not need to be as afraid of it as you are. And it's not calling you, please remember that fear is engendered into you by our modern day society, which tries to keep us anxious and engaged with all the things that are trying to tell us what to think. Choose to enumerate and just go through in your life 5 things every single day that are positive. And it can be the same 5 things, but honest to goodness, the view of the trees in your home, perhaps, if you don't have that, then find something that is good. Can you see the sky? There are many beautiful things if we will focus on them. And when we focus on that which is good, the information that we need to make things better will come to us. And it is in no way shaming or blaming or scolding you if you've had trouble with a loss of hope and pessimism, but you're trying to find your hope. These are the ways to do it. Go through every single, if you drink coffee every morning, savor a sip, and really understand that it's really a gift in your life to have something that invigorates you, that tastes good. These are things to celebrate. And if you think they're too small to celebrate, I'm just going to remind you that a lot of people don't have them. And I mean a lot of people. We have a tendency to focus on people who have more, and we forget about the people who have less, who look at us and think we are living a dream. There are people who want your exact existence for the comfort that they do not have. If you have a bed to sleep in, if you have a roof over your head, and if you have enough to eat, you are actually truly blessed. And it can be easy to lose sight of that because our society tells us to always want more and want more. But when you find contentment with what you have, all you have is each day, and accepting the day that you have and trying to find what is good will increase that goodness. We have nature is calling you. It wants to touch, fulfill, and protect you with its healing powers. I just did a podcast about the need to disconnect from electronic devices at least one day a week. And that is one of the ways that you can actually interact with the natural world, because you will not have kind of inauthentic electronic stimulation. It is one of the things that will restore you. But taking a walk outside can really help as well, because the ground actually has positively charged ions that when we interact with them, it's a mood elevator. Flames of desire, let them shine out in radiant light and shun dark paths. So guys, this is a hard one, but it really is a choice. Your choices will determine your hope. It is a choice to go through what you're really feeling. And if you're still healing the wounds of the past, the things that you're grieving, if like people misused you in relationships, as a for instance, it doesn't mean all people are bad. It just means that you have to have your eyes wide open in all interactions and not see who you wish to be there, but who is really there. And it can mess up absolutely everybody, because we see the world as we are. And if you're hopeful and you're kind, then you have a tendency to think other people are hopeful and kind as well. If you have lost your hope, there are ways to reacquire it, but it does involve taking the steps that would get you out of the dark valley. And everybody has the ability to find a lighter path. And this is not dismissing the idea of major depressive disorder, which used to be called clinical depression. It's not dismissing depression. It can take a while, particularly if you have a chemical imbalance. And I am one of the readers who will tell you that psychiatric medication can save your life. Now, I do not actually take any medications, but I really believe that it's just an illness. We shame mental illness so much, but it is illness, and your brain is your mainframe. And when something goes wrong with it, sometimes you are going to need external help in balancing out that brain chemistry. But it's always a good idea to take the natural steps in the natural world for mood management. And one of the ways to do that is to determine your focus through allowing yourself to process your feelings, but then kind of enumerating and cataloging the things in your life that are good. Are you wearing a pair of pants that you think are cute? Celebrate that. Honest to goodness. Look at your life for what you love. And when I look at my life for what I want to love, I have artwork all over the place. I buy all these decks, partially because luckily I get to write them off because I do this for a living, but it gives me different artwork and gives me different images and sparks my creativity and sparks my imagination in a way that really gives me more hope. Seeing what people create that is positive, that is beautiful, is another way to do so. Seek out lighthearted information. There are actually social media sites that do nothing but deliver good news. Detoxify from the pessimistic world by going towards optimism in the things that you choose. And it can be, like another example for me is I liked Gilmore Girls. I don't watch it very frequently. It has a much more of a romantic focus than I'm currently interested in my life. But its humor appealed to me, the relationships in it appealed to me. Whenever I really need a reboot, I go and I rewatch one of my favorite episodes. The other thing that does it for me is The Good Place, where people are always trying to figure out how to be better. We have the ability to figure out how to make our lives better. And it starts with changing what we're looking at. All right, I have divine guidance. Well, that couldn't be more on the nose. Here we go. And the frog, which of course is another one of the signs for adaptation with a dragonfly. Interesting. Magical power. I work with celestial and angelic magic, and divine guidance and magical power makes perfect sense to me. If you are drawn towards me as a reader, if you find your messages here, it is because you likely also have an affinity with celestial and angelic magic, which is also an elemental form of magic. And it does work with the deities and the gods and goddesses of various different religions, which does involve our past lives as well. So for hope, we have overcome fear. Okay, work on that heart chakra. And then on the back, I have karmic justice. And we'll go ahead and remember the underlying issues on any deck are an important issue. And then we have cross the bridge of happiness. It leads over the depths of your emotions. So I want to talk to you about that one a little bit as well, because I've got that Five of Cups, which features somebody weeping. They've lost 3 cups and 2 remain, but they're trying to let things flow away from them. When you have negative emotions, particularly grief, because we all grieve for the image of the life that we either didn't get to lead or was promised to us and never came to be. It is natural to grieve that. Grieve your losses, but don't get stuck in the mindset that your life is nothing but loss. If you have been brought here, if you are interacting with this world, there's a power that's trying to help you heal. Listen to that power. It has your best interests at heart. Divine guidance, magical power, overcome fear with karmic justice. If you feel that your life has had many unjust outcomes in it, the very thing that is trying to lead you towards a just outcome is interacting with you right now, telling you that you have more power in your life to determine how you feel about your life than you are giving yourself credit for. And to never feel like you're being blamed, you are being guided towards a lighter and a more hopeful path. Balancing will help, working on your heart chakra will help, understanding that it is perfectly all right to say that sucked and I was victimized and it hurt a lot, but then to also remember, hey, I'm not uniquely afflicted. This happens to a lot of people. It's not a personal judgment. It's part of the world and the choices that people make. But I have the power to overcome this, and I will learn from the pain of the past so that I don't accidentally repeat a cycle. Let's get going on the Endora Fortune cards. Well, this is a super straightforward message. Please do not fear your emotions. When you have them, release them and then take the appropriate mood management steps in the aftermath. Meditation always holds place, but for people who have overwhelming emotions, getting into a meditative practice can be actually very, very challenging indeed. Take the steps first for mood management, and remember that meditation can start with 60 to 90 seconds at a time. Do not be intimidated by the thought of sitting down and clearing your mind, which freaks people out when they've got overstimulation from over repressed emotions. Just look at it as I'm just going to listen to my breath and focus on my breathing. I can have my eyes wide open. I can be listening to a balancing program. I can be doing almost anything that I need to as long as I am allowing my focus to go towards the moment right here and right now. Because that will help you release the past and step into the present, which will lead you towards the future. The spider, be meticulous and patient. Patience is the one that everybody struggles with the most, because we have these false plateaus in healing where it's like, I'm healed because I'm tired of feeling icky. But there's still something there to be processed and understood. And please remember, the past contains the lessons that will give us the power in the present to create a better future. Let's get going on one more, please. The sun, your perseverance is rewarded. The sun is about new cycles beginning and positivity and hope and understanding that it always takes longer. It's almost as if, it's not, by the way, the universe dangling a carrot in front of you and keep going, and eventually you'll have abundance. We think of abundance in this very materialistic way. I will have the house I want, I will have the car I want, I will have the this, the that, the other, the external thing. Abundance really starts from within. And it does start by celebrating what we have instead of enumerating what we don't. You have something right now. You have the ability to focus on your inner world in a positive way, in a way that doesn't shame it out of existence. Never call yourself, never call yourself names, even when you're like accidentally backsliding into negative patterns. Always be kind to yourself. Always be compassionate to yourself. Love yourself in a way that compensates for the ways in which perhaps your love has been misused in the past. And when we love ourselves, we invite more divine power into our life. Fear is the opposite energy of love. Do the healing frequencies to invite more love into your life. Go to YouTube. You're watching me on YouTube. Hit that search engine. Look for healing frequencies, love frequencies, balancing frequencies, overcome fear frequencies. There, and it's available to you for free. Please always stop and take a moment to interact and hit the thumbs up button, because it creates an energetic exchange. And that way you will reap more benefits from everything that you interact with. If you like the message on something, hit that thumbs up button. And if you don't, here's something to consider. If you're creating negative energy for somebody else, you're living in the energy that you're creating. So be careful with, if you don't like something and it's not for you, just move on. You will find what is for you. But your hope will return to you when you allow yourself to be like, I am sad. I am depressed. I have lost, but I'm okay right now. And I'm so okay that I'm able to examine my feelings for the lessons that they contain so that the pattern will be broken and I won't do the same things going forward. And then choose hope. Speak to yourself very, very positively about, and be careful with your choices, which can include no drinking, guys. Drinking is alcohol is a central nervous system depressant, and it can cause and worsen depression, and it actually does exacerbate anxiety as well. Now, I am somebody who's like, hey, cannabis, very much a friend to a lot of people. You can use cannabis for mood elevation. It is better to use in edible form. It keeps you a little bit more grounded, but I'm not a medical doctor, and please don't take my advice as medical information. Everybody is different, but unfortunately, alcohol is universally known to be a central nervous system depressant, which means that it aids depression. So if you are struggling with hope, if you are struggling with optimism, the very first thing to do, if you can't do anything else, is stop drinking. We have plain. A journey is indicated either physically or metaphorically. Your life will become more full. And then we have luck. You are right to be strong and optimistic about the opportunities ahead. Remember, everything can change on any given day, and it may be changing around you in minuscule ways that you cannot notice, bringing together a better picture than you ever thought you would have. Go towards your healing, and all will come towards you. Go towards a better perspective, but don't shame yourself out of your emotions. And I've seen people do that. When they're like really feeling some pain and something hurt them, they'll be like, well, what should I be grateful for, in a very self-scoldy way. Acknowledge your feelings compassionately. I get why I feel this way. It's because of this, it's because of that, because it feels like it's a repeating pattern from the past. And I love myself, and I understand that the pain of the past cannot just be shooed away or stuffed in a drawer. I have to let it out, and when I have gotten it out, I will not fear my emotions, because my emotions cannot overwhelm me. Because when I am done purging that energy, I will actively choose a more positive path going forward. And when you ask for help, it will come to you. But you have to open that door, which means the healing frequencies, which means the grounding activities, which means the attempt to begin to engage through meditative practice. All of this is telling you that more hope is available to you if you will take the steps to go towards the energy of hopefulness, which does include things that are lighthearted, which does include watching comedy instead of zombie shows. It does include raising your vibration. To find your hope, your optimism, and your new beginnings, the first thing to do is to understand that any healing pattern that you've been in is to help you get rid of and release negative energies, but it may include grief and your choices in the aftermath around the clarity of new beginnings and what this could mean for you. If you understand a situation, you are very unlikely to repeat it. And sometimes that's exactly what's coming to you as the difficult energies of the past are purged. So, group number 1, that was your message about how to achieve more hope and optimism. I hope you found it helpful, and thank you for joining me. Hey, welcome back. If you chose pile number 2, this is your reading, and you chose the Wisdom of the Magi, Mental Clarity. We will see what the message contains. I'm not going to be too surprised if it contains some information about magic and manifestation, but it might not. I don't really get to determine. I did a little bit of pre-shuffling on this, so you don't have to watch me bridge forever on this one. Guys, before I get started, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the thumbs up button. It helps my channel and allows me to continue doing these readings. If you want to book me for a private reading, attherisingmoon.com is the only way to do so. I have a Patreon with weekly and monthly spirit guide and ancestor messages, and then I also have a podcast, Logical Magic Examining Esoterica, and I put the video versions of all of those podcasts up, and they do contain a lot of healing information and some magic lessons and a couple of other things. We have the King of Pentacles in the upright. That is a card of prosperity, of business success. It can be, I'm not an astrological reader. Everybody gets a different focus in reading. It can be an earth sign, Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus, but it is more likely with the court cards that they represent a ruling energy. We have the Sun in the upright, which is healing and prosperity, new beginnings. I have the Nine of Cups in reverse, which a lot of the times is delayed wish fulfillment. It can be disappointment. If something hasn't come to you yet, it's because it isn't time, and it can be very difficult to accept that. But every time in the past when I have been like, it's time, it's time, it's time, it turned out I still had something to heal, or there was still something I needed to learn. And so over time I began to accept, if they're telling me it's not the right time, it's not the right time yet. But that doesn't mean the right time isn't coming. The right time, you're being guided for a reason. We have the Seven of Swords in reverse, which is clarity and a clear and open channel. I like that a lot, actually. Ace of Cups in reverse, which is an emotional release card. We're going to go, this is a spirit guide spread, by the way. I have the Two of Pentacles in the upright, which is everything coming out in a balanced state. If you have had losses, you will regain what you lost. You will. It's just we are asked to do our work first. And it's never on our time. Divine timing does not exist on a calendar or clock. It exists in energetic readiness. We have the Empress in the upright. Whoa! Clarifying the sun, which is the birth of new things. I have the Nine of Pentacles in the upright, which is an independence and privilege. I just got a 9 in the upright, clarifying a 9 in reverse. Whenever we get that, that's called a download code, which is what an area of your life that's expanding. And that has to do with your individual power, the ability to be by oneself and think independently. If you wish to have prosperity in your life, you have to shed the expectations of others and catering your messages and your activities to make them more acceptable to others. One of the hardest things for me on YouTube was understanding that even though people will watch love readings like crazy and it's fun, that it wasn't supposed to be my focus because it's only meant to be a smaller percentage of life. And so I do these type of messages, and even if it doesn't yield gigantic numbers, if I'm reaching anybody, that's providing the service that I set out to do, which is to help others. Take success in the forms that it comes to you and know that everything that you need will be brought to you when you do what you are guided to. 3 Wands in reverse, and then the Hermit in reverse. We're going to take our Queen of Pentacles in reverse, which is anxiety, Ace of Pentacles in the upright. You may have a lot of economic anxiety around this. If you're wondering, am I cursed? You're not cursed. You did have a generational curse that you had to release. It looks like you have leaned in on doing the work and have already done that healing work. Remember, prosperity goddess work can also help you. We do have magical messages here. There are different goddesses of abundance. Always work with, when you're trying to expand and give birth to something new and bring new prosperity into your life, always work with the goddess energy. That is the female aspect of the divine. Now, we all contain masculine and feminine energy, so it's not actually a gendered thing, but you want to invite the energy of ever expanding the birth of new things, which has to do with goddesses. Persephone, Lakshmi, Durga is another good one. That's one of the mother energies, also from the Hindu belief system. I practice celestial and angelic magic, so I don't stick with one belief system. I'm not supposed to. And the reason that we can do that has to do with past lives and what you truly have an affinity to. If you're called towards something, there's a reason that you are called towards it. I work a lot with Kali at this point as well, which is one of the goddesses of death, which is also a rebirth energy. So please keep that in mind. Start doing some research into what goddesses can I work with, and be prepared to do a little bit of offering around that. But you're not quite done healing your emotional world, and that has been one of the holdups around it. And you still have some economic anxiety. And to please understand that if you are leaning into a purposeful energy, what you need will be brought to you. And if it doesn't feel that way, it's because it's not time quite yet. We want to set the time on everything, but we are frequently doing that to assuage our emotions, to try and heal them, to try and get rid of that anxiety and that fear. When you're really divinely guided, you try to accept that it's like, this might be tough. This might be a difficult learning season, but it will get here. All you have is a delayed wish fulfillment on prosperity. It's just delayed until you're emotionally ready. And why do they do that? Because we have a tendency to try and, you wouldn't be safe from other people. That's the shortcut I'm going to put on it. A lot of the times we aren't given prosperity until we have reinforced our ability to make good choices around boundaries. So we're in a period of healing, and when we come out of that period of healing, then everything is meant to come to us. And until that time, we're on like a sustaining income type of thing. If you don't have the money to take the world cruise that you've always hoped to take, it's not that it's not coming. It's that it's coming when you are able to protect yourself from the people who try to take from those that have. And are you supposed to do protective work every single day of your life? You are meant to do some protective work. There are eternal forces on the other side that try to misuse people with good intentions. You have to protect yourself. And how do you do that? There are different mantras. There are different prayers for protection. Go towards the belief systems that you want to interact with and look up the gods and goddesses of protections, the psalms, the chants. Do some form of protection and do some form of energy clearing every day. And it will really start helping with clarity, with guidance towards how to heal what might still be holding you back. There are very few obstacles on this table. There's just a feeling of like, okay, what else can I possibly do? When you feel fear, heal your heart chakra. When you feel anxiety, go outside and ground. When you remedy to the extent that you can any emotion that is based in fear, because that is not actually something that you're trying to process, that is something that you're trying to shed. Step into your confidence, step into your power. Always remind yourself, I'm choosing to be brave. Yes, if something's trying to freak me out, that's an attachment. It can go sawed off forever. I am powerful. I am brave. I am the person who commands my own energy. And you're not being called weak if you're still struggling with fear. You may have a generational attachment that stretches back literally thousands of years, literally. Don't be hard on yourself if it's taking 2 years or something, because you are dealing with, it's a fraction, the tiniest little fraction of the amount of time that has been a ruling energy within your ancestral line. Remember, you chose the Magi pile, you have ancestral magic, but you may need to resolve fragmented ancestral energy through the attachments that are on you. I've done podcasts on what attachments are, but if you really just want to shortcut it, look for spirit attachment removal in the healing frequencies on YouTube. They're all over the place. Good luck. Hey, hooray. With good fortune, good God. Balanced emotions. Hello. You got to heal your fear. And what would be the next one? Cast away negativity. Alrighty. So that, like, where's your nose? Because the reading just decided to get on it. This is a little on the nose. Rule your fear. Don't let it rule you. And honest to goodness, when you're afraid, just talking to yourself about, like, I am the warrior. I am the person who is resolving generational trauma and generational curses. And even if please don't think of the word warrior so literally with picking up weapons and wading into battle and killing people. If you are here to battle an energy, you are a freaking warrior. Be brave. Tell yourself, I am brave, I am strong, I was chosen. And the magical energies that I need are here at my command, but first I must resolve my fear. And then everything you actually need will come to you. But as you heal, a lot of the times your desire for, like, I want a bunch of money, it's like, I just need enough to do the things I want to do. I don't want to participate in a structure that seems to drive a lot of other people crazy because it has so many attachments on it. You'll be very peaceful when you're healed. It doesn't mean you'll never have emotional fluctuations. People with big energy have big everything. Sometimes you're going to cry. Sometimes you're going to be like, I'm so mad, I could burn down the town. Sometimes you're going to have big surges of emotions. And what do you do after that? You balance. I'm such a broken record, but it helps so much. Chakra vibrations, meditative mind, inner healing lotus music. I also like Tao Wind Spirit. Please balance. It will help you so much more than you realize. And it will help you divorce yourself from negative energies, which are the lower vibrational energies that are attached to all chakras. Chakras are energy wheels within that we need to heal. The love of your dragon reaches out to you. The realm of your truth is opening up. The dragon is about personal power as well. There are dragon frequencies all over YouTube. Interact with the healing energies and the frequencies that will take you into the vibration that you wish to inhabit rather than the one that is dragging you down. A new strategy is required. Find the path to love and happiness. So this is your strategy. When you find and you're not trying to eradicate it, don't be ashamed of it. Embrace it and be like, what's wrong? Why are you crying? It's okay. And talk to yourself almost like you're standing beside yourself, because that is likely, if you've had a bunch of generational trauma, and powerful families always do. Spoiler, if you have a generational curse that has carried through for thousands of years, the chances that you come from a very powerful but conflicted line are very, very high indeed. And there are, in different parts of the world, because slavery was such a big part of all of history, there are enslavement attachments as well. So you do want, that's what the bravery one is about. That's what about claiming your power is about. I just did a podcast on the single most important thing you can do to reclaim your energy. Please listen to it. It has a lot of valid advice about how to inhabit the magical energy that you wish to inhabit. But your prosperity is coming. Your prosperity is coming despite your anxiety about it. Don't blame yourself, and don't think you're being weak, and don't think you're sick. You live in a world that wants to make you afraid all the time so that you will do... How does our society control us with fear? It controls us with fear by telling us that terrible things will happen to us if we don't do what we're told. Find your own guidance within. And if you need to simplify your life to meet your current budget, then do so. A simple life can have tremendous pleasures in it because you learn to value what you have rather than pine for what you don't. And once you start to value what you have, then everything begins to expand and everything comes to you. Let's keep going here. Your personal power is increasing, but you need to remember whenever you feel fear, what do you need to do? You need to do a healing frequency. You need to do a balancing meditation. Before I did this today, I don't always do this, but YouTube has a tendency, whenever I do these group readings, there's a lot of attachments involved because I'm interacting with the energy of sometimes hundreds of people, sometimes thousands of people. And that means I have to really protect myself. So I did that trick with a raw clove of garlic and honey before I got in here. And I may have to do it again afterwards. I'm not super fond of doing it, but my gosh, will it blast an attachment into space. Love. Love surrounds you and all your connections. Move forward positively in all areas of your life. Fire. Let go of emotional upheaval and embrace the renewal of the present. Don't repress your emotions. Embrace them, but also when you let them out, you find that there's a bottom to it. Like when I help different clients, a lot of the times after I work, I will have to sit there and just cry because I'm just releasing a lot of negative emotions and a lot of negative energy that I've taken from my client to get rid of. But it doesn't really affect me emotionally. I've learned to just observe the emotion being like, well, that must have been a big one. And just kind of like I'll sit there and play games on my computer or actually my iPad I just sit there and cry. And I don't question why I'm crying. If it's happening for a reason, but it doesn't really touch my emotional core any longer. And that's another skill that you gain over the course of time when you get very good at being balanced. Is that when you have a negative emotion, it's something that drifts in and out of your life pretty easily. Thorns. Weathering the challenges ahead will bring a new and positive future with Moon. Pay attention to your intuition at this time and move ahead confidently. Confidence and courage are essentially synonymous things. Whenever you're afraid about the future, just tell yourself, I can do this, I am guided, I am powerful. I'm not alone in this. I did have a lot to heal. It's not even my fault. It's been following my powerful family for a very, very long time. And if you think my family's not powerful, they're a bunch of ne'er-do-wells, and they have attachments. They have attachments. My family had so many attachments on them, it boggles the mind. On my father's side, I come from a very long line of teachers. They were actually very good people in their own right, but they were incredibly conflicted and incredibly broken. And it was one of my jobs as this, incarnation was to resolve that energy, to step into the most powerful incarnation that this ancestral magic can actually inhabit. If you're watching it, you are being asked to pick up that torch and to carry it forward and to step into your own power and to claim it. Good luck, good fortune, they are all meant to be yours. When you cannot find the hope in this world, when you cannot find your personal power, do a balancing recording or a balancing activity, which can include yoga. It can include standing around on one foot after the other. You can be very literal with balance. It will help you, and it will give you a more balanced approach to the future can work out if I open myself up to healing. When I am healed, I will be the most powerful form of myself. I will be able to manifest what is truly good for me. And if something has been held back, it is because it has not been currently good for me. But it doesn't mean that it never will be. Let's go ahead and we'll close this one out with an angel answers card, or two. There we go, 1 and 2 and 3. When I ever look at that, the new strategy is required, the person looks so dejected. And it really does have to do with sometimes we have to start again. Sometimes things take more time than we want them to. Except that wherever you are is where you are meant to be, even if it's difficult, even if there's struggles. It is because something is trying to help you learn how to face your struggles so that nothing will ever take you out. So that you can meet every challenge. And you had one of the cards about you are protected as you face challenges. Perfect timing, that is divine timing. Communicate clearly. Yes, love that. Listen to your intuition. The other thing I want you to remember is that after you are balanced, that is the time to do a devotional candle, which is simply an intention candle, where you light a candle. I anoint it with conjure oils because that's what I work with, but you don't have to. where you get yourself into a clear and a balanced and an open state in a cleared space as well. There is a video on my YouTube channel that talks to you about how to make a clearing spray if you don't have one. You can also use a clearing element like juniper or lavender. I don't personally recommend sage or palo santo. They are both endangered, which means they will run out if we don't find alternative solutions. So try to go towards alternative solutions. But what I need you to hear, pile number 2, is that you will be fine going forward. If you're wondering what the holdup is, you're still learning about your emotional world and working with it rather than resisting what it is trying to do. And it can be very, very, very powerful. People have very powerful emotions. And so their negative emotions can be like, this is overwhelming, I want this to stop. Your Hermit phase card is in reverse. When you are in emotional flow, which is one of the Ace of Cups in reverse, is not about unhappiness. It can be, but it's not in this particular instance, is when you allow your emotions to flow through you in a clear stream or a clear channel as the Seven of Swords in reverse, then you will no longer be dealing with the stagnant energies of the past, and you will be what? In flow. When you're in flow with your emotions, when you're not resisting them or judging them, but embracing them and trying to allow themselves to be expressed so that you can then choose your energetic and emotional direction in the aftermath through robust self-care practices and balancing exercises. After that is when you would ask for anything. Now, the other thing I want you to know is that when you're really deep in the weeds where you're like, I can't get over this, I'm so sad, this hurts so much, put on a healing frequency that talks to the power that you are most invested in. They have ones for dragons, they want to have ones for archangels. YouTube is your biggest gift because it will give you everything that because you're worried about money, it will give you absolutely everything you need for free. Whenever somebody has a reading with me in the aftermath, I send them an email with their personalized healing links, and they all come from YouTube. They all come from YouTube because I really believe that one of the biggest crimes of the modern world is that people who are unwell do not have access to the healing abilities that are available to people with means. And so that is part of the reason that I'm such a fan of the free resources that are presented on YouTube. You want to have your magical power. You want to have mental clarity, and these are the ways to do it. Thank you so much for joining me. If you need to book me for a private reading, that's at therisingmoon.com. I have Patreon, linked in the episodes below. And Logical Magic Examining Esoterica has so many different episodes about how to heal and get into your power. Take care. Be well. Hi, welcome back. Hey, if you chose pile number 3, this is your reading. We're going to put the number 3 over there. You can easily fast forward to them by the numbers in the corner, but there are always timestamps in the description box down below. I have the personal guide card is the one that you chose for your reading, which is Guardian Angel and Spirit Family. I do not know who will come through on this. We are going to find out. I did actually forget to do a pre-shuffle on this, so I'm going to have to bridge a couple of times. And while I do that, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. It is one of the things that allows me to do these type of readings on YouTube, which basically does not pay me any money. But it helps with channel engagement and the algorithm. And I have a Patreon, which you can join for weekly and monthly spirit guide messages to help you on your healing and powerful journey. And then I have Logical Magic Examining Esoterica, which is the podcast that I do. I put the video versions of that up on this channel. And there's tons of healing and power advice on those. So please check that out. Let's get going here. This is the Clarity Tarot. Felt like the right tarot to use for this one. Good deck, very, very, very flimsy cardstock for my fellow readers. Do I like it? I do like it, but it's not one that's going to wear super well, and it was super inexpensive. I think it was $18. So, all right, here we go. We have the 3 of Swords in reverse, which is healing and releasing pain. If you have a relationship to cards, please remember that your meaning for them will not superimpose itself onto my reading. I have a personal relationship with my cards. The 3 of Swords in reverse for me is the healing process. It is not about exaggerated pain. We have the 4 of Pentacles in reverse, which is your heart chakra, letting things go, opening up appropriately. Oh, you're too guarded with other people. 3 of Wands in the upright. That's not the way to protect yourself. The way to protect yourself is to pay attention to red flags and react to them appropriately. But you can't be on your guard with absolutely everyone. It's exhausting. Just pay attention to who they really are. I have the 8 of Swords in the upright, which is doubt, masking true feelings as well. Ace of Swords in the upright, which is clarity. We're using a spirit guide spread, which is 12 cards. Okay. This is interesting. Your healing, your heart chakra is a very damaged place. It's likely having to do with generational trauma. It may not be a generational curse in this aspect because we've got that Three of Swords in reverse, but you've got a damaged heart chakra. You can work with the Archangel Raphael primarily for your heart chakra, or you can work with chakra healing for the heart chakra. I'm such a broken record on this one because a lot of chakra healing has come through on this. Inner Lotus healing music is one of the best. Meditative mind, chakra vibrations. They also have healing vibrations. Five of Cups in reverse, which is making the most of something after a season of loss. The Hierophant in the upright, which is good counsel, higher learning the lessons that we need to have moving forward. It can be a very traditional card. I rarely see it that way. It is the card for Tauruses and mentors. Three of Cups in reverse. Oh, wow. This has happened throughout this reading. It's freakish. If you go back to the two piles before this happened over and over again. I had one in the upright being clarified by one in reverse. And the reason that happens is it's called a download code. The threes are about conclusions of energies. They're about community craftsmanship. And they're also about completion. They're also one of the numbers for personal inner balance. King of Pentacles in the upright with the Chariot in the upright. Let's get our clarifiers down. This card is being pulled in two different directions. It looks like you're having some doubt around your eventual success. It's still there. It's still there. Listen, you've had a switch out in guides, by the way. You may not be aware of that. During your initial healing journey, you kind of had these very stringent guides, ones that really almost like it almost felt like you can't possibly care about me. I can sit here and cry and scream and rage and you don't do anything. That wasn't their job. Their job was to keep you safe as you learned to work with the flow of your emotions. And so if it almost felt like your guides were like you almost had a I don't want to say hostile, but like a resentful energy towards them sometimes. You know what I've been through, that type of thing. It's because they were there for a stage in your healing where you had to be held in like almost like a healing ward or a halfway house to learn how to deal with the amount of pain that you needed to release because your heart chakra was super, super damaged. And if somebody damaged it on purpose, understand that is not your fault or a personal judgment or anything having to do with your worth. But what it does do is it leaves you with residual doubt around love. And it's left you with the idea that you do not feel loved, apparently, by your guides. It always takes more time than we want to heal. I get tired of saying the message, but it always does. There's always a bit more. And you're always able to tell you're healed when you, like, the things will knock out balance slightly, but then, like, you kind of let the emotions out, you express them, you understand them to yourself. It really is important to be able to do these things for yourself. Even though our entire society encourages us to reach out to another for support, learning to be self-supportive is the thing that will keep you in your most powerful energy. It doesn't mean that you're never supposed to reach out to another for support, but the reason we need to be able to do it, to have that robust inner dialogue with ourselves, to be supportive, to be kind, to be guiding towards ourselves, is because at the end of the day, we are all we will ever truly have. And that is not to say you will never love another person or they won't be by your side, but that your internal process is known best to you. And you will never be able to fully express it entirely to another person, although mentorship and therapy and guidance holds place. You are meant to step into the energy of being able to guide yourself, heal yourself, mentor yourself through the difficult periods. And if you've had that switch out of guides, which you have, if you've had this, Knight of Wands in reverse, with the Lovers in reverse and triggers. With the Lovers in reverse is a card of being careful with your choices and also being in alignment within. You're still struggling a little bit with emotional triggers around like doubts and fear. Your cards are saying, please stop worrying quite so much. You've actually had to switch out of guides. So if you really just, I'm not laughing because it's funny. It's actually a trauma response when I laugh like that. I have complex post-traumatic stress disorder following an exceptionally abusive childhood and then relationship choices in my adult years that were a result of that. But I have healed and resolved that energy, and you can too. Whenever we have something that slips into disorder and dysfunction, we live in a world that gives us the tools to be able to step into bringing it into order and bringing it into functionality. And that's what those initial guides that you did not like were. They were trying to help you learn how to bring it into order and bring it into functionality. And their job was never to listen to your pleas, but rather to hold you in place until it's like you can't keep running away from yourself. You can't. It will never give you the results that you want. So it was actually a very, very, very loving act. And how can you love something and be indifferent to its pain? Because it's called tough love. It's about having people let go of things that aren't serving them. So if they felt a little deaf to you, it's because they weren't there to listen. They were there to restrain until such time as you worked and flow with your emotional process. And again, it is a very loving act. But what you need to heal from this guardian angel and spirit family is you have an entirely new group of guides that are there for you to interact with to lead you towards success. Just sit down and ask them. And if you really hate meditating, that's okay. Open-eyed meditation can work. Simply sitting on a park bench and looking at people, allowing your space to be clear. Please don't have your phone with you. That drains your energy like a siphon. Try to interact with the world in a way that is simplified. If you simplify the input, the more messages can get to you. Now, the best way to do that is through meditative practice, but you may not be in that space yet. Try to go towards it and know that it's not that, like, if you can't do it, it's not that you're not good enough. It's that you're still dealing with conflicted emotions. Your new guide team is all about trying to bring you the things that you want. You have reached the stage where even if your equilibrium is sometimes slightly fragile because you have big energies, because you have big power, they're here to try and help you. Good luck. Wow, that came out for the last one too. Yeah. Banish a curse. Okay, interesting. Because I would have said that you didn't have a heartbreak curse, but you may have a poverty curse. How do you do that? The karmic curses and karmic and spirit attachments that follow throughout generations are the easiest ones to resolve, because if you do your healing work, you will resolve it. There are actually frequencies to banish generational poverty. One of my favorite ones is from the sound healers. I would really recommend start falling asleep to it, because it's when we manage our conscious world, things hide in our subconscious world. So please go towards the healing frequencies that will help you with your subconscious world. All right. Karmic justice. All right. Be the person that you are meant to be, and it will resolve any generational curses or trauma around you. You didn't have one for heartbreak, but apparently you may have one around your money situation. And you get triggered around that. It is easy to think if I don't have what I want, that means nothing loves me. We often want things that aren't good for us. I know from my own personal experience, a lot of people that I've been attached to or romantically drawn to were there to try and help me resolve an energy of accepting people into my life who did not belong there. And that, there was a very particular person who I was like, I want this person, I want this person. Oh my gosh, now I'm like, thank you for not letting that work out. Because that person had all kinds of addiction issues. And there is no way to have a healthy relationship with someone who is an addict, an active addict. They have to be well into recovery and self-maintaining in their recovery, in their own healthy energy that they have learned how to maintain. Everything that we're denied, there's a reason. If it's not the right time yet, it's not the right time yet. Please try to release the need, the false sense of urgency around things as well. The success that you want is coming to you in the time that it is meant for you. But you have some doubts around whether or not your guide team likes you and cares about you. Please revisit the idea. By the way, we don't keep the same, maybe you don't know that. We don't keep the same guides throughout the course of our lives. It's an infinite, vast talent pool out there, and the ones that are needed for you come to you. Do you retain some of them? Yes, you're very likely to retain the same guardian angel. Or two or three. Like some of us have, like mine are archangels, and so I've retained I work with the 7 core archangels, each attached to a chakra. And so those are the ones that I'm most easily able to call upon. Now let's get going here. What else do we have? All right, I have the unicorn, good fortune and friendship, the satyr, revelry and indulgence. And then I have fire, reckless actions lead to conflict. And one last one on this one, the knight, triumph over adversity. The confidence that you sometimes lack in your ability to believe in the idea of being guided and being special and being powerful is being brought to you by the ability to have the courage to overcome the obstacles in your path. That is the thing that balances out the scales of justice and will bring you what you are hoping to have. Everything that you're hoping to have is coming to you. But we're still dealing with your ability to deal with frustration. Disappointment can be a very crushing energy according to this as well. that it feels very personal when you're denied something, and that you have a little bit of trouble taking the perspective of, well, if it didn't work out, it's because it's not really for me, and hey, thank you for that. The whole concept that rejection is divine protection, it truly, truly is. But we do have success here, and it is a business success. If your doubts around it sometimes overwhelm you, that is just a call to do the work that you're being asked to do. Let's keep going. We're going to get I'm using a different set of oracle cards on this particular pile as well, because I'm going to have people who watch every single pile on this type of, and that's not a criticism, it's just what happens. Some people really, they need a lot of messages at a particular crisis point, and that's why I do these readings, so that they can have access to them. Stuck in the mud, okay. We have some stuck energy. Wishing well, okay. That is so the technical meaning behind the card wishing well is that the best prayer that we can offer to the divine, and I told you can ask for help whenever you need it, is please resolve this in the way that is best for me. But again, it's that acceptance of if something hasn't come to you, it's because it's just not good for you at this particular point. Rock bottom, which is a recovery energy, it's a starting over energy, it's a grounded energy as well. And then metamorphosis, we're going to take one more on this because we're turning a corner. Follow the leader. Follow the guidance that you are being given towards your healing path. And all will come to you over the course of time. Now, here's the problem that I have with success is that people automatically think it's money. Oh, that means cars and things and purses and stuff. True success lies in being happy. And if a part of you is just automatically rejects that, that's the thing that you're trying to heal. Your emotional state being healed is the most robust form of personal success that could ever come to you. But there's money on this table too. You got good luck, good fortune, banishing a curse. Oh, you may also be from a family that put too much weight on money, which can happen as well. Listen, everybody hates the trite, money can't buy happiness. People who truly have experienced deprivation, I did at different points in my life. Know that it buys space to heal. It buys lack of fear for your basic survival. Money holds a place, but it is not in itself a measure of success. Success is being happy, being healthy, and being in a flowing energy that brings you the joy of your existence, rather than that feeling of always trying to chase the thing to make other people think you're successful. True success lies in kind of being like, I don't care what you think of me, I know how I feel. I feel happy, I feel successful, therefore I am. We have failure. I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn with purpose. I know what I am here to do. Friendship, and then love as well. I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason. Love, I commit to the practice of seeing the good in all things. If you had something that did not work out, if it was a relationship, if it was a business, if it was you were guided towards something that didn't work out, you were not lied to, there was the mistake, the opportunity to learn. Every single person who has ever succeeded has had a failure that they don't talk about, that taught them more than anything else could ever do, because it taught them how to persevere and how to keep going and how to adjust what didn't work so that it would work. And please listen to that as a message, because it's an exceptionally important one, is that the conflict that comes from within where like, hey, I was told to do this, and then you know what? I felt really lied to because it did not work out. Look for the lesson about what you're supposed to do differently. And I can use myself as an example, because when I did a bunch of twin flame readings and a bunch of love readings, I got incredible numbers but I didn't like what I was doing to people, which is that making them focus on an area of life that put their happiness into the hands of another person in a partnership, instead of teaching them how to be happy and powerful within. And then the love that you're meant to have will come to you. And I still do some love readings because it has a place in life. But I wanted to focus more on personal guidance and empowerment, and that is actually less successful from the algorithms or the societal standpoint, but what it does is it makes a greater difference in someone's life. It doesn't keep them in the same energy. It helps them learn how to expand and to grow and to become the most powerful version of themselves that they can be. You have different guides now. They are trying to guide you towards success, but they're asking you to look at any failures, including relationships, including business endeavors that did not work out, for what was it trying to teach you about the true nature of happiness? What was it trying to teach you about the power of your choices within your own ability to succeed? Don't try to go for people who do not truly match you. Judge people as they come to you, not who you think they can be, and you will have better relationships and friendships as well. All right, pile number 3. That was a fairly rapid one. Keep reaching out. And if you really have felt like your guides just don't get you, you did have like ones that I just kind of want to call them wardens, but like you weren't in prison, but they had you in a form of like holding facility until you could learn how to be your best friend, instead of somebody who made the choices of your ego versus the choices of your soul. And that is not a criticism. We all frickin' do it until we learn not to. Take care, be well. If you need to book me for a private reading, that's at therisingmoon.com. Please look for Logical Magic Examining Esoterica. It has a lot of healing messages in it that will help you on your path. Take care, be well. Hey, welcome back. If you chose pile number 4, this is your reading. We're putting the number 4 over there so people can easily fast forward to their reading, but there will be timestamps in the description box down below. There always are. We're dealing with Archangel Raguel. We have justice, harmony, and solutions as the focus of the reading. Let's get going on this. We're using the Clarity Tarot for an Archangel spread, which is 12 cards. Let's keep going here. Hey guys, before I get started, please don't forget to do things like subscribe and hit the thumbs up button. It's one of the things that helps my channel. I have a podcast called Logical Magic Examining Esoterica. I put the video versions of those interviews and discussions up on YouTube. It has a lot of healing advice. Please check that out. All right, we have the Magician in the upright. That's going well. I have the King of Swords in the upright. That's also very good. 9 of Wands in reverse, which is the battles you know better than to engage in. So the Magician in the upright is having all the personal power you would need, being in alignment, having your ducks in a row. The King of Swords is through clarity and through logical processing as well. It's also information. It's also guidance. It's also a judge sometimes, because we're dealing with the justice solutions. I have the 3 Cups in reverse. Now that can be a false friendship. It can also be a third party. It can also be relying on yourself. 8 of Wands in reverse, which can be a blocked or a delayed journey. Let's get the Page of Swords in the upright, which is clarity and information. It's sometimes the start of something new, but it's usually in an intellectual realm, so it can maybe a new business beginning. With the 7 of Wands in the upright, which is the card of overcoming, the triumph over adversity card. Think things through. Never make snap decisions on things. It's something that has led to some poor outcomes in your past. It's not a judgment. It's just a piece of advice from the cards. We have the 5 of Swords in the upright. Ooh, conflict, which is also the battle. That's another card for a battle that you know better than to engage in. Because it actually depicts a victory, but it comes at a cost. And to always protect your energy from others. If you have had a history of people taking advantage of you, that's simply that they have identified your personal power. Let things develop slowly in all areas, in friendships, in romantic relationships, in business relationships as well. If it's real, it will stand the test of time. And the easiest way to weed out those who might misuse you is to keep a safe distance and allow things to develop at a sane and a logical and a healthy pace. A tendency to rush towards completion on things has contributed to some unjust outcomes in your past. That is not a criticism, it's simply the clarity that you need, which is the High Priestess in reverse, to prioritize your own emotional wellness as well. Also, it does have a false friendship energy around this, with absolutely no offense meant whatsoever. If you're a good human being, you're going to see other people as being good. We see the world as we are, and it does mean that sometimes pretenders can get bias. But you're being told this information to try and help you kind of hone your own experience. Take things a little bit more slowly, and that will help a tremendous amount. That's a delayed journey. Sun in reverse, and then the Hanged Man in the upright. You're the only group I'm going to go for a third card on, which is the 10 of Swords in reverse. I see. You're still in a healing phase around trauma from traumatic connections in the past. Sorry, I had to go close the door. We have a beeping truck outside, so... You're still healing some trauma around personal connections. Learning to prioritize yourself and protect yourself has been the thing that has been the biggest challenge for you. Your guides are trying to tell you that a lot of the times we want an apology from somebody that if they gave it to us, we'd allow them back into our lives, and the very last thing we ever need is to allow that person back into our lives. It's actually rare for somebody to do all of their healing work. And if somebody comes towards you offering amends for anything, they have no expectations of you in return. A true apology is just like, I just need to express my remorse and I want you to get back to the peace of your life. Not let me back in, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. If somebody is pressuring you with apologies, it's not sincere. And to remember that part. And you've struggled with that. You've struggled with that. And that is not a criticism, it's a mark of your good heart. The Judgment card in the upright with 8 of Wands, until you have improved your judgment in others and in your ability to be self-protective, things have been held back from you, but they're trying to bring you information about you. It's not that you can't trust anybody, it's that you're supposed to move a little bit more slowly in your connections in order to have it really work out. Anything that develops too quickly has a suspect energy on it. The solutions. Oh, that's why you're getting this information. I'm like, what does this have to do with justice? Oh, it's your solution to make sure that you don't have those type of unbalanced and unjust and unfair situations. Enter the temple of your truth and learn to value it. Okay. Feel the power and blood of your ancestors. You are not alone. Even if you feel alone, you're not. Even if you feel alone, you're not. And by the way, a lot of us are dealing with trying to resolve ancestral curses and resolve that, it ends with us energy. That means that there is something very, very powerful that has stretched across generations. If it takes a little while to resolve it, it's because it's survived for thousands of years. And you're being given the power to resolve it, which means that you're a really super powerful person and that you're not alone in this. Because every single person who passed before you has a vested energy in kind of reclaiming their ancestral energy. Does it change the past for them? Not exactly. It's a hard thing to describe. It just releases their karmic burden for any of it, because this is a card of karma. It releases the burden they might bear, because it does burden those who came before us. When they have saddled people with burdens that weren't necessarily the trauma, that weren't necessarily the burden that they were meant to bear, but had instead the weight of the generations behind them. You are doing that with, you are caught up in trauma. Act to free yourself, change and blossom again. Please, I've got this weird false friend energy on this one. Like somebody who recognizes you as a powerful person. It's the 3 of Cups energy in reverse, and then a blocked journey. Draw back from people. Even if it's a work contact, you can have very surface level connections with people. And if they seem confused or hurt or like, what did I do? I'm demanding. If they're trying to demand your attention on any level, you're not meant to give it to them. You're allowed to simply walk away from something that isn't working for you. That's the battles you know better than to engage in. Aha, aha. Hey, sometimes trying to tell somebody, listen, you did this and it hurt me, that it'll just like, they'll be too defensive. They'll be too defensive. They won't be able to accept that part of themselves, and so they'll lash out at you. And you have somebody in your life who's like that. Practice good, strong judgment around who belongs in your life. There's a difference between being judgmental and practicing sound judgment. And we got the shield, you're safe from harm on the back. The difference is being judgmental is judging other people's choices and thinking you know what their battles are. Having sound judgment is you can look at somebody with love and compassion and be like, I see all your struggles, but you don't belong in my life. And that's good sound judgment. Judgment keeps you safe. Judgmental energy keeps you locked into directing your energies in an outward fashion rather than an inward one. No matter what we've all got this outrage for people who have done anything that we determine to be wrong. We do not know their internal world, and people are more than their worst actions. People are a mixed bag, but sometimes they have to be over there unpacking their own bag. And there is be careful you've let the wrong people in before, because you feel like you're supposed to. And I deal with that in my business all the time, is that sometimes I have to block somebody. Sometimes I have to be like, hey, I'm not the right reader for you. And they're always concerned about what they did wrong. It's like, it's not that. My guides won't give me answers if you're not meant to be here. My guides are the ones that provide information because they're the ones that are talking to your guides. You have a personal relationship to your guidance. Don't resist the messages too much. They really are trying to bring you into balance. You're a little bit held in stasis as you're dealing with some trauma. It takes longer than we want to, but please remember the thousands of years thing where you're carrying the weight of your ancestors. And if you get angry at that, what did I ever do to deserve it? You're being freed. They weren't within their lifetime. You're being given the information to free yourself, to overcome. They weren't. You're not actually burdened. You're the one who's being given the opportunity to break the cycle. because you came at the right time with the right amount of power, with the ability to overcome even if it's difficult. And all journeys contain struggles, because we learn the most about our weaknesses through our struggles. The gate, a barrier keeps you from goal. You're a little blocked on this. The talisman, you are destined to succeed. The wizard, and then we have the minstrel, let your intentions be known. Until you are able to practice very strong judgment for yourself about, like, it's great to accept somebody else, to recognize you're just showing me who you are, but that doesn't mean they're supposed to have access. And you struggle a little bit, according to this reading, with allowing people because you have compassion for them, or because they're showing you one side of them. It can take a really, really long time to accept when someone has been showing us a false front, when they've been, pretending to be something, trying to inhabit an energy to get the end results that they want from a situation, rather than the ones that serve us. So the gate on success just has to do with some unhealed trauma and an inability to really protect yourself as a right. It looks like you suffer for some guilt when you are like, I don't want to be around that person. All they do is gossip. Or I don't want to be around that person. They're very negative. Or I don't want to be around that person. It seems like they try to undermine me. You're supposed to have compassion for their wounds, but you're supposed to stay out of range of their blades. And that is, you're allowed to be self-protective in this world. Unconditional love is not unconditional access. I don't have tattoos, but if I did, that'd probably be the one that I'd get. Unconditional love is not unconditional access. You can release somebody with love, going, wow, you've got a lot going on, but I can't help you. Because I'm too busy trying to help myself and others who are going towards healing rather than protecting their damage. We have grounding, okay? Such a broken record about this. Grounding is your friend. It helps get rid of attachments. It helps get you to be connected. Once you're firmly anchored in the 3D, you can reach up safely for the guidance that will help you, and it won't give you false visions. It will give you can always tell your guide messages, because about half of them you kind of are like, oh, really? Instead of being like, wee, everything's going to be perfect and easy, and we want really easy lives. But if we had really easy lives, we'd find difficulty in them, because we do need adversity to understand our true strength. And if you're living a life where part of it involves watching tarot card readings on YouTube, you have some space in your life to find healing energy. Because there really are people who are experiencing like ethnic cleansing and genocide and war right at this very, very, very moment. They don't have a lot of time to focus on self because they're in survival mode. When you're allowed to be in a healing phase, focus on the fact that that is actually a gift itself. To have the space, to have the ability to grow rather than being on the run from the actual thing that's trying to eradicate you. Wisdom. Defense. Oh. With banish a curse. Okay, and then we have concealment. Yeah. We have people with hidden agendas around you. The Three of Cups in reverse is a third-party card. It's also people who are with a hidden agenda. You really knowing better than to engage with some people is the thing that will keep you the safest. And because often we want a different ending to a story than we got, sometimes we ignore what's in service of our highest good. You're still doing a little bit of trauma processing. Once you're healed, it's not a super hostile thing when you're trying to protect yourself from another person. And you will have people come towards you who you are meant to be like, nope, I'm noping on out on that. I'm just going to go ahead and get you out of my life. And it's not with rancor or hostility or judgmental, like, how could you? But rather, you are not healed and I can't have you near me because you will injure me. And sometimes you're not meant to say that to people because they really will freak out and flail at you. We have the Archangel Uriel, which is the crown chakra and a better connect. You just got grounding and you're getting the crown chakra. I would suggest doing some crown chakra healings. It'll get you your better guidance. You have good guides, but you're very resistant to the messages because they're not about what you want to hear, which we all do that. We all do that. Shemuel, which is a manifestation energy. There are more than Archangel cards in this particular deck. It's the Energy Decks by Sandra Ann Taylor. Let's go ahead and see what else is going to come out. If it continues to be archangels, I'm going to send you towards the archangel healing frequencies. Here we go. Oh, Lord God. Okay, Gabriel, and then the door to romance. So you got 3 archangels in the door to romance. Hey, listen, everybody wants to have better connections in their life, whether they're friendships or whether they're love. If you are currently like in the I never ever 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 want to do that again, it's because you're not healed yet. When you're healed, you won't be afraid of it. But if you are, again, looking for messages that are solely about love, about like when do I get the justice from that relationship that did not work out, the justice is you get to be you and you heal. You get to be you and you heal and you go forward with your good heart fully healed. And that person, if they do not do their work, will always be a conflicted and deeply unhappy person. And it might not seem like justice, but once you're healed, you're like, yeah, no, this is justice. This is awesome. Please listen to some archangel healing. Crown chakra, go with your solar plexus, and then the throat chakra is the Gabriel card, which is the one about communication, both with yourself and with others, and also to receive your guide messages. But if you're here asking about, if you chose this pile because it says justice, harmony, and solutions, and you're really asking about, like, what will happen to that person who hurt me so badly? Whatever is their karmic due. But you are being given information to heal so that they no longer matter. That they will just become a lesson that you learned so that you will never fall victim to the same schemes again. And you don't have to do so in a guarded against all humanity energy, but you can do so in a very powerful, I understand how to protect myself by releasing those who are not meant for me. And I extend myself slowly towards other people because I know that it takes a while. Everybody's on their best behavior at first. Please remember that part. It's called the honeymoon phase, and it's something, I'm going to grab a different deck in just one moment because it's an important one. Moon, pay attention to your intuition at this time with wish. Your heart's desire is ready to come true, and then cracker. Positive energy surrounds you, love, joy, and good fortune await. I have slightly bad news about that wish card. It can be about wish fulfillment in a wishful thinking way. See people as they are, not as you wish them to be. If you're a good person, you have a tendency to see people as good, but you have to take them as they are. And that doesn't mean someone's bad, it's just maybe they haven't done their work. And for anybody who is asking about a romantic relationship, if it didn't work out, it's because it wasn't meant to. And if somebody really did you dirty, then the easiest way to have it not matter is to do your healing. And then you get a different perspective on them, and you kind of see them as marginalized anyway. Because every single connection that they have will basically develop a form of cancer. Because they're the cancerous cell within it. And that's the justice. All right, water sign, whoa. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So we're going to put that to the side because that was in my hand as I was literally saying the word Cancer. So that's a sign. And is it truly a water sign? Water's about emotions as well. It can be, but I have nothing else on this particular table to support that. And I'm not actually an astrological reader. Not to say anything against them. It's just that astrology is actually a fairly dense subject. And I focus more on healing and magic. And that is why it's not something I focus on in my own readings. Sexuality, someone is still figuring themselves out. Communicate. Compromise, forgive, work it out. Date night. Moving. Change of residence, moving with your partner. Narcissist. Let go. If you were wounded by somebody who did it on purpose or who concealed things or who was a false friend or a false partner or you were cheated upon, the justice that will help you the most is not in seeing them laid low, because that's revenge. It just is. The best revenge is living well. It's a very old saying because it's true. So I feel like that's an echo of what we've been talking about. If you've been asking about a relationship and why you haven't been having robust ones, is because you want things to develop very quickly. And it just takes time. It just takes time to truly know a person. And when you encounter people who have not done their work, because it's not always sinister, sometimes it's just somebody who's in pain, it's okay to remove them or to step back from them or to understand that they're at a different phase in their journey than you are. We're going to close this guy out by talking briefly about these 3 archangel cards that will lead you to the real love that you want. A better connection to self comes to you through your crown chakra because it marries you to your higher self, which guides your choices towards the best choices that you can get. Look for crown chakra healing meditations and play them. You do not have to focus on them. You do not need to be meditating, but you want to start setting your vibration to bring you into conjunction with that energy. The Chamuel is your personal power and confidence energy. Do not think that just because you've had challenges, you aren't powerful. The exact opposite is true. The more challenges you have, it's because there's an equally opposing force on the other side of it. Work on your solar plexus chakra. It helps you with self-love because it gives you self-confidence, which is what many people who have had those unfulfilling narcissist romantic connections, where it's the narcissist empath paradigm, it's because you lack full ability to believe in yourself as being enough. So you're always looking for somebody to validate you through their love. And that validation starts within. And it's not a criticism. I had to recover from codependency. I know exactly how it feels. And then Gabriel is my main personal guide and has been since I was a child. And that is the epiphanies and communication and clarity and the ability to choose the words that you need in order to defend yourself in this world without hostility. True boundary keeping is essentially, I'm not going to say effortless, because it can be taxing, it can be triggering, and it can be difficult. But it becomes easier the more that we do it. And expect it to go a little bit, it should be like a clog dance in a minefield at first when you start doing it. But eventually, it's so elegant that you don't even need to say the word no. You know how to sidestep the people who it's like, I see you, I see the red flags. What they're trying to help you do is learn how to spot red flags. And that may be the thing that's holding you back. But if you pick that pile because you're asking about where's my justice from this other person, I want to see them laid low. Your real justice is in becoming a powerful person. They picked on you in the first place because you're powerful, because they spotted your own magical ability. And don't worry about that. The universe will take care of them. The universe will take care of them in ways that you cannot even begin to understand. Nobody ever truly gets away with doing something horrible to another person. But if you can only see it in the form of, I want him to go to jail, I want him to be poor, I want him to be alone, I want him to get, various forms of cancer of the whatnot and where not. That's not justice, that's punishment. Justice is in you living your very best life and forgetting all about them and no longer having them be important in your journey because you took the lesson and left the pain. So pile number 4, that was your message. Take care of you well.